Good morning, students. Today I am discussing some of the cell organelles over here. See, so what are cell organelles? Cell organelles are the compartments, the membrane bound compartments that are present inside the cell. If you see all the cell organelles, they are of different shape, different structure, plus they are performing different functions. So let's take each and every cell organelle one by one. The first cell organelle that is present in our cell is endoplasmic reticulum. So first see how this endoplasmic reticulum looks like. What is it? It is made up of. See, when we see endoplasmic reticulum, this is made up of three components: cisternae, tubules and vesicles. Cisternae are basically flat sacs that are present like this way, one above the other, and near to the end portions various tubules are present and various small sized vesicles are present. Circular structures are present that are vesicles. So this will be the cisternae, these are tubules and these are vesicles. This is how endoplasmic reticulum look like. Now where this endoplasmic reticulum is present inside the cell? Some of the endoplasmic reticulum, they are starting from the nuclear membrane and they are ending up to the plasma membrane. That means the space in between the nucleus that is lying in the center of the cell plus the plasma membrane, that complete space is being filled by the endoplasmic reticulum. So from here one important function of endoplasmic reticulum is coming, that it is maintaining the structural orientation of a cell. Now what this endoplasmic reticulum is doing? The endoplasmic reticulum is of two types: smooth endoplasmic reticulum, we also say SER, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and second is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Why smooth and rough? Smooth and rough, basically we are writing because of the structure that is appearing. Some of the endoplasmic reticulum are having small bead-like structures on their surface, and these bead-like structures are known as ribosomes. And because of the presence of ribosomes on their surface, they are appearing rough. That's why we are calling them as rough endoplasmic reticulum. But if we see a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes will be not present and this cisternae is going to appear smooth. So this is the difference between smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Other than the structural difference, they are having functional difference also. Functional difference means the ribosome, the endoplasmic reticulum that are present, that are having ribosomes on their surface, they are involved in the process of protein synthesis. That means the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum is protein synthesis. So rough endoplasmic reticulum will be more present on those type of cells which are involved in maximum protein synthesis. While smooth endoplasmic reticulum are not having ribosomes on their surface, so they are involved in the process of synthesis of lipids, sterols. These are the functions of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The proteins, the lipids that are forming here, they will be involved in the process of secretion of plasma membrane. Because when we know plasma membrane is made up of carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. So endoplasmic reticulum is playing role in the formation of plasma membrane. That's why we say endoplasmic reticulum is involved in membrane biogenesis. Membrane biogenesis means synthesis of new membrane. So this is how endoplasmic reticulum is looking like. Now we concentrate on one thing. When these ribosomes are going to release proteins, they are going to secrete proteins. This is the lumen. The internal space of this endoplasmic reticulum is lumen of endoplasmic reticulum. And these proteins, which are basically synthesized by these ribosomes, will enter into the lumen of the endoplasmic reticulum. They are moving to next cisternae, then again next cisternae. These proteins, up to this stage, these proteins are basically non-functional. means these are proteins but they have not converted into fully functional protein. They require lots of modification and changes in them to become a fully functional protein. So now what happens with these proteins? This is a protein and this is a immature protein. This needs more modification so that it will convert into a fully functional protein. So endoplasmic reticulum pack these proteins in these vesicles, and these vesicles are going to take these proteins to Golgi bodies, that is another cell organelle, and later on the modification of these proteins will take place in the Golgi bodies. So endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi bodies are functioning in coordination with each other. Endoplasmic reticulum is going to form the proteins and Golgi bodies is going to mature that protein. You can say Golgi complex or Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies is again looking like same like endoplasmic reticulum. It is also made up of cisternae, tubules and vesicles. In animals, Golgi complex are present as a whole unit at the same place, but in plants, because in plants a large centrally located vacuole is present, that's why Golgi complex are present in small units, and those small units are known as dictyosomes, that is present in plants, while in animals they are present as a whole single unit. Now what this Golgi complex is going to do? See, this Golgi complex is going to receive a vesicle that is coming from endoplasmic reticulum. This is again made up of cisternae. Various cisternae are arranged. Say one side of the Golgi complex is known as cis phase or immature phase. When I'll explain, you will come to know why we are giving them these names. And just opposite to this end, this portion is known as trans phase or maturation phase. Somewhere you will see it is written transfer phase, secretory phase also. What happens? This is the vesicle that is coming from endoplasmic reticulum, and this vesicle is containing the immature protein. Now this vesicle is going to fuse with this membrane of cisternae of Golgi complex. That's why I have written immature phase, because this phase is going to receive a immature protein. This vesicle will fuse here and it will finally enter this protein into the lumen of Golgi complex. Vesicles remains outside and the protein enters inside the lumen of this cisternae. This protein will start moving step by step through each of the cisternae, and when this is moving from these cisternae, basically modification, step by step modification is taking place between these proteins. Modification simply means there can be addition of some extra groups in these proteins, or there can be removal of some unnecessary groups from these proteins. So through movement, this protein is getting maturated step by step, and it is moving out, again packed in form of vesicle from this phase. And when it is coming out, initially it was immature, when it is coming out, it is a fully mature protein that is having the ability to function. That's why this is the maturation phase, because it is leaving out a mature protein, and this is a immature phase because it is taking a immature protein. And this mature protein will be transported by the Golgi body where it has to function, means at the site of function. If this protein has to function in the alimentary canal, or you can say in the blood, wherever this protein has to function, this Golgi complex is going to transport it. So the function of Golgi complex will be, this Golgi complex is involved in the modification of the proteins. It is going to receive the protein from endoplasmic reticulum and finally maturing that protein. Another is, it is helping in transportation. Transportation means it is going to transport a fully mature protein to the site where that protein has to function. Some other functions are, this Golgi complex is going to convert some simple sugars like glucose into some complex sugars. These are some of the functions of Golgi complex. The next organelle that is present is lysosomes. Lysosomes, again, these organelles which we have discussed are single membrane bound organelles, means they are covered by single membrane. Lysosomes are also small organelles that are bounded by single membrane, plus these organelles are containing various enzymes that are hydrolytic enzymes. What do we mean by hydrolytic enzyme? Hydrolytic enzyme simply means when these enzymes are basically responsible for breakage. They are going to break a component. And how they are going to break a component? They are going to add a water molecule in the bond, and by addition of this water molecule, the complex is going to be broken down. That's why they are known as hydrolytic enzymes. So thousands of hydrolytic enzymes are present in these lysozymes. Then what these lysozymes are going to function? They are going to digest anything that is coming in the contact of these hydrolytic enzymes. These lysozymes are known as suicidal bags. Why they are known as suicidal bags? See what happens. Suppose a cell is injured or the cell cannot repair itself. Now what will happen? If this is a cell and there is some problem with this cell, various lysosomes are also present in this cell and other cell organelles are also present in this cell. But this cell is having some problem, whether it is not properly functioning or it is injured and it cannot repair itself. Now what will happen? Now the lysosomes are going to burst. They are going to burst, and when they are bursting, all the content, the hydrolytic enzymes that are present inside them will move out and they will come in contact of all the cellular structures that are present inside the cell. And I told you these hydrolytic enzymes are going to degrade everything that is coming in contact with them. So this is going to degrade whole cell because of its enzymes. That's why suicidal bag, because after breakage of the cell completely, the cell is going to die. Along with the cell, the lysosome is also going to die. So with its cell, it has killed itself also. That is suicidal bag. Now this is also involved in the process of recycling. Recycling simply means that the useful materials that our body can use will be recycled and the waste will be degraded. So when lysosomes break down the components, it remove or it take the usable forms that can easily be recycled for the formation of new cell organelles, and the waste will be degraded, completely removed. In some of the small organisms like amoeba, lysosome also plays a role in digestion, because amoeba is not having proper digestive system. So digestion of food in amoeba takes place with the help of these lysosomes. So this is how lysosome is functioning. Another function is of another organelle is ribosomes. Ribosomes are the again very small circular organelles, and these are not bounded by any membrane, or you can say no membrane is present in ribosomes. One single function that is performed by ribosomes is they are involved in the process of protein synthesis. See, when we take a difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, we basically say that in prokaryotic cell, membrane bound organelles are absent, while in eukaryotic cell, membrane bound organelles are present. So ribosome is the cell organelle that is present in both prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. The organelles which we have discussed earlier, like Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, they are absent in prokaryotes but present in eukaryotes. Ribosome is present in both prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes, but their size is different. In prokaryotes, the size of ribosome is very small and it is called 70S. S is the sedimentation unit, or you can say Swedberg unit. Eukaryotes, ribosomes are of 80S. That means in eukaryote size is bigger as compared to the prokaryotes. Function always remains the same. In prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes, the ribosomes are going to function as for protein synthesis. Now, in prokaryotes, the ribosomes are present in cytoplasm. They can be present singly or they can combine with the thread of mRNA and they are going to form a polyribosome. While in eukaryotes, the ribosome are present in cytoplasm as well as they are attached on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum. So this is how ribosomes are found in the cells. Now what these ribosomes are made up of? These ribosomes are made up of RNA and proteins. So we say ribosomes are basically made up of RNA, gives the word ribo, nucleo, proteins. So simply RNA is made up of various ribosomes and proteins and involved in the function of protein synthesis. Later we will discuss other cell organelles that are left.